Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is 8:32 a.m. EST, and I believe a little bit of data just got dropped. Looking at the NASDAQ, not a lot going on there just yet. Of course, the market doesn't open for another hour or so, but we did have a lot of data hit overnight. We had a lot of European data, and their main refinancing rate just happened. And then we have the unemployment claims, which just hit the U.S. markets. So really the most interesting place to look right now is probably going to be in forex, right? So USD JPY, nice little pop-up right here. This is on the 3-hour chart, but if we zoom in, we can see the effect of the data, the news. There you go. Nice move up right there. So markets did kind of get really quiet just before the news came out. Going back to about 2 a.m. here in the U.S., USD pairs, at least outside of the Euro pair. So this looks like it will continue up. Let's go ahead and take a brief look at the algos. And yeah, I mean, look, this market, yeah, it's going to continue up for a time, but it's starting to kind of mellow out overall. So we might see, just for the moment, let's see, are we going to get sideways and up or sideways and down? I think we're going to get sideways and down. It might even just be sideways, but you can see it's been kind of climbing up here very slowly. And this is on the 3-hour chart. This is just kind of a slow grind up. And it's hard to say if it's going to just kind of continue to play this range right now, because things can equalize out and price may either play this range or that range. I'd be willing to bet this one, and that's fine. You can make a lot of money in that. But I do think for the moment, price will start to just even out, go down nice and slow. We'll see about that. A brief look at the NASDAQ on the 3-hour, back to the main subject here. I did say we were looking at bullishness and all-time highs yesterday. And of course, that's what we saw. NASDAQ did come down a bit and overnight came right back up, right? So throughout actually yesterday, let's see here. Yeah, so it came down overnight last night, back up throughout the day yesterday to retest these highs. Let me take a quick look at this, and then we'll look at Bitcoin next. But yeah, the highs were retested right here, right? So NASDAQ didn't quite make an all-time high, but almost did. A lot of volatility in markets, a lot going on in markets. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Well, before we do that, there is bullishness left in this chart, right? And the fact that price hasn't fallen despite testing these highs tells me that most likely what we're going to see probably will look like this. And this is, I wouldn't trade based on these types of predictions, but it's which way is the wind blowing, right? And you might get kind of like a move like this, and then a move like this, and then something like that, right? And by the time we open next week, if not by the close Friday, there is a decent chance that we're seeing new highs in the NASDAQ. If not today, if not tomorrow, then early next week. So something like this, right? And it'll probably happen way quicker than what I predicted, because that seems to be the way of it. I'll make a prediction. The price action is more or less correct, but it just happens way quicker than what I think, right? So maybe something like this, which would be by the end of the week, or you could stretch that out to go through Monday. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just holding. It's holding strong. It does seem to be coiling up. I thought it would make its way all the way down to the bottom of this range that it's created, with about 116,000 at the bottom. And right now, instead of bouncing all the way up and all the way down, it's just sort of getting quiet. Let's take a brief look at the algos here and see if we can identify what may occur here. Give me just one moment. All right, I'm going to have to fix my screen here because now you can't see the screen update. Give me just a moment. Little technical issue here. Okay, good. Now you can see. Yeah, Bitcoin's come to a point where it's bullish high time frame, but it needs needs to make a decision, right? And this is real simple. the volatility is dying in the high time frame, and the market needs to decide whether or not price. And we talked about this. It's really no change from yesterday. This is a daily chart. You're going back a few months on this price action. Back in May is back to the beginning of this as price bounced around over the early summer, and now in the midsummer is up here. And it's really simple. Is price going to break down and maybe grab liquidity at 112, or is it instead going to break up and test or create new highs, right? That's really just the look of it. And consolidations can be like that. Even if price breaks down to 112, let's just say it looks something like that, which is going out towards the end of the month, beginning of next. My most likely bet here is that price will go ahead and extend back upward. And based on metrics, if I were to guess what the next target to the upside would be, you're looking at about my sweet spot for this cycle high is 145. My sort of range for this cycle high, when I say cycle, I'm talking about the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin. Bitcoin does a 4-year cycle, and I do believe that still applies despite all of the large money getting into Bitcoin, right? And if I were to back up and do some higher time frame metrics, I've got about 145 as the sweet spot. Now, this particular move would go up to about 138, right? Just based on this Fibonacci extension, based on this smaller move right here. And we're in a pullback. Now, this may not pull back, but if it does pull back to grab 112, 113, that would be a 382 pullback, indicating that if price continued up, we're in the middle of a high time frame FOMO event. So if price were to break upwards, the stop off points would be about 130,000 and then just below 140,000. But we haven't seen that happen. Price may continue up. There are a lot of things that can happen between now and then. That's just a look to the higher time frame. And what I do is I use this data to try to, of course, predict where price is going to go. That's how we make money in trading. And whether it goes up, whether it goes down, whether it is on forex markets or whether it is the NASDAQ or anything, what we're able to do as traders is to either let's just say over the period of a few days or over the period of a few hours, get in, get out, take money, and then I take that money and invest it where I want to invest it. And that could be in gold, or it could be elsewhere. What do we have here? Some notes. Bitcoin often follows NASDAQ. Okay, someone's just giving us their input in the comment section, things that I have said before. So either way, yeah, anyway, so sorry, I saw some comments there. I wanted to address them, but those are things I've said many times before, so nothing new. Either way, the point here is that, what, do you like gold? Sure. Maybe learn how to trade, pull a little bit of money out of the forex market, put it into gold. You like Bitcoin? You like whatever, Ripple, Solana, put a little money in the forex market, pull it out, put it into Ripple. In the middle of the bull market, yes, it is. You can trade cryptos. You could get in and do that. There are ways to do that. If I'm going to trade crypto, though, what I like to do is look for something more like Bitcoin or Solana that has a longer history. It's a little bit more predictable, and I can trade that, right? Especially when they get volatile. Ethereum fits right in there. And, sure, if I learn of an opportunity of a crypto that I think is going to go up, we made a lot of money doing that the last year or two. But, the bull market is now kind of in, I think we're in the, past the middle age of the bull market, right? So the bull market's long in the tooth. So trying to buy a token that I think is going to go up to, 10 or 100 times, this really isn't the time for it unless you're gambling on meme coins. And that's just definitely not something we do at Algo Factory. So we are here to help people make smart moves, predictable moves, because those are what make money over time, right? Everybody wants to get in and they want to make their big win where they make their 10 or 100x because they've seen somebody do it on the internet, and that's just not how things really work. Okay, the way that things really work, if you want to make real money in this game, is you make predictable moves. And whether you trade in crypto, stocks, forex, futures, metals, we can help you learn how to do that. We're excellent at that. Go to the link in the description, get yourself a free algo. Right, you can get a free algo, see how they're built. If you really know what you're doing, you might be able to make it profitable, right? Because that's what we teach. But do that. We'll put you on a mailing list. We'll give you the weekly updates, and we'll let you know when we're going to have our webinar that I keep putting off. I know Probably going to be in August. Obviously, July is almost over. So we will take care of that. We'll let you know when that's going to be. So click on that link, real name, fake name, we don't care. Give us your email and you'll have your algo immediately. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. EST. And the day before that, on Monday, I will be sending out the weekly market forecast. We cover NASDAQ, Bitcoin, some forex pairs, gold, and we send that out. Again, if you get that algo, we'll put you on the mailing list for that. But for now, thank you for watching, and we will see you on, what is it? Yeah, Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. EST. Thanks for being here.